White Sargasso Sea, Rhys. Quickly, while I can, I must remember the hot classroom. The hot classroom, the pitch-pine desks, the heat of the bench striking up through my body, along my arms and hands. But outside I could see cool blue shadow on a white wall. My needle is sticky and creaks as it goes in and out of canvas. My needle is swearing. I whispered to Louis, who sits next to me. We are cross-stitching silk roses on a pale background. We can color the roses as we choose, and mine are green, blue, and purple. Underneath, I'll write my name in fire red. Antoinette Mason, Nee Causeway, Mont Calvary Convent, Spanish Town, Jamaica, 1839. As we work, Mother St. Justin reads us stories from the lives of saints, St. Rose, St. Barbara, St. Agnes. But we have our own saint, the skeleton of a girl of 14 under the altar of a convent chapel. The relics. But how did the nuns get them out here? I asked myself. In a cabin trunk, especially packed for the hold now, but here she is, and Saint Innocencia is her name. We do not know her story, but she's not in the book. The saints we hear about were all very beautiful and wealthy. All were loved by rich and handsome young men. More lovely and more richly dressed than he had ever seen in life. John's mother, Saint Justin. She smiled and said, "Here, Theophilus, is a rose from a garden of my spouse, in whom you do not believe. The rose he found by his side when he awoke has never faded. It still exists. Oh, but where? Where?" And Theophilus was converted to Christianity, says Mother Saint Justin, reading very rapidly now, and became one of the holy martyrs. She shuts the book with a clap and talks about pushing down the cuticles of our nails when we washed our hands. Cleanliness, good manners, and kindness to God's poor, a flow of words. It is her time of life, said Helene de Plana. She cannot help it, poor old Justin. When you insult or injure the unfortunate or the unhappy, you insult Christ himself, and he will not forget, for they are his chosen ones. This remark is made in a casual and perfunctory voice, and she slides on to order and chastity, that flawless crystal that, once broken, can never be mended. Also deportment, like everyone else. She had fallen under the spell of the Plana sisters and hold them up as an example to class. I admire them. They sit so poised and imperturbable while she points out the excellence of Miss Helene's coiffure, achieved without a looking glass. Please, Helene, tell me how you do your hair, because when I grow up, I want mine to look like yours. It's very easy. You comb it upwards like this, and then push it a little forward like that, and then you pin it here and here. Never too many pins. Yes, but Helene, mine does not look like yours, whatever I do. Her eyelashes flickered. She turned away, too polite to say the obvious thing. We have no looking glass in the dormitory. Once I saw the new young nun from Ireland looking at herself in a cask of water, smiling to see if her dimples were still there. When she noticed me, she blushed, and I thought, now she will always dislike me. Sometimes it was the Miss Helene's hair, and sometimes Miss German's impeccable deportment, and sometimes it was the care of Miss Louis took off her beautiful teeth. and if we were never envious, they never seemed vain. Helene and Germain, a little disdainful, aloof perhaps, but Louis, not even that. She took no part in it, as if she knew that she was born for other things. Helene's brown eyes could snap. German's gray eyes were beautiful, soft and cow-like. She spoke slowly, and unlike most Creole girls, she was even-tempered. It is easy to imagine what happened to those two bars in accidents. Oh, but Louise, her small waist, her thin brown hands, her black curls, which smelled of vetiver, her high, sweet voice singing so carelessly in chapel about death, like a bird would sing. Anything might have happened to you, Lois. Anything at all, and I wouldn't be surprised. Then there was another saint, said Mother Saint Justin. She lived later on, but still in Italy, or was in Spain. Was it in Spain? Italy was white pillars and green water. Spain was hot sun on stones. France is a lady with black hair wearing a white dress because Louis was born in France 15 years ago, and my mother, whom I must forget and pray for as though she were dead, though she is living, liked to dress in white. No one spoke of her now that Christophine had left us to live with her son. I seldom saw my stepfather. He seemed to dislike Jamaica, Spanish Town in particular, and was often away for months. One hot afternoon in July, my aunt told me that she was going to England for a year. Her health was not good and she needed to change. As she talked, she was working at a patchwork counterpane. The diamond-shaped pieces of silk melted one into the other. Red, blue, purple, green, yellow, all one shimmering color. Hours and hours she has sent on it, and it was nearly finished. Would I be lonely? She asked, and I said no. Looking at the colors, hours and hours, and hours and hours and hours, I thought. This convent was my refuge, a place of sunshine, refuge or refugee, I don't know, a place of sunshine and of death, where very early in the morning the clap of a wooden signal woke his 9 of us who slept in a long dormitory. We woke to see Sister Mary Augustine sitting, serene and neat, bolt upright in a wooden chair. The long brown room was full of gold sunlight and shadows of trees moving quietly. I learned to say very quickly, as the others did, offer up all the prayers, works, and sufferings of this day. But what about happiness? I thought at first. Is there no happiness? There must be. Oh, happiness, of course, happiness. Well, but I soon forget. But I soon forgot about happiness. Running down the stairs to the big stone bath where we splashed about wearing long gray cotton chemises, which reached to our ankles. The smell of soup as you cautiously soaped yourself under the chemise, a trick to be learned, dressing with modesty, another trick, great splashes of sunlight as we ran up the wooden steps of the refectory, hot coffee and rolls, melting butter. But after the meal, now and at the hour of our death, and at midday, and at 6 in the evening, now and at hour of our death, let perpetual lights shine on them. This is from my mother. I would think wherever her soul is wandering, for it has left her body. Then I remembered how she hated the strong light and moved the cool and the shade. It is a different light, they told me. Still, I would not say it. Soon we were back in the shifting shadows outside, more beautiful than any perpetual light could be. And soon I learned to gabble without thinking as the others did. about changing now and the hour of our death, for that is all we have. Everything was brightness or dark. The walls, the blazing colors of the flowers in the garden. The nuns' habits were bright, but their veils, the crucifix hanging from their waists, the shadow of the trees were black. That was how it was, light and dark, sun and shadow, even hell. For one of the nuns knew all about hell, and who does not? But another one knew about heaven and the attributes of the blessed, of which the least is transcendent beauty, the very last. I could hardly wait for all this ecstasy, and once I prayed for a long time to be dead. Then remember that this was a sin. It's presumption or despair. I forgot which, but a mortal sin. So I prayed for a long time about that too. But the thought came, so many things are sins. Why? Another sin to think that. However, happily, Sister Mary Augustine says, thoughts are not sins, if they are driven away at once. You say, Lord, save me, I perish. I find it very comforting to know exactly what must be done. All the same, I did not pray so often after that, and soon, hardly at all. I felt bolder, happier, more free, but not so safe. During this time, nearly 18 months, my stepfather often came to see me. He interviewed Mother Superior first. Then I would go into a parlor dressed ready for a dinner or a visit to friends. He gave my presents when we parted. Sweets, a locket, a bracelet, once a very pretty dresses which of course I could not wear. The last time he came was different. I knew that as soon as I got into the room, he kissed me, held me at arm's length, looking at me carefully and critically, then smiled and said that I was taller than he thought. I reminded him that I was over at 17, a grown woman. I have not forgotten your present, he said. Because I felt shy and ill at ease, I answered coldly, I can't wear all these things you buy for me. You can wear what you like when you live with me, he said. Where? In Trinidad? Of course not. Here, for a time being, without me and your Aunt Cora, who is coming home at last. She says another English winter will kill her. And Richard, you can't be heading away all your life. Why not? I thought. I suppose he noticed my dismay because he began to joke, pay me compliments, and ask me such absurd questions that soon I was laughing too. How would I like to live in England? Then before I could answer, had I learnt dancing, or were the nuns too strict? They're not strict at all, I said. The bishop who visits them very year says they're lax, very lax. It's climate, he says. I hope they told me to mind his own business. She did. Mother Superior did. Some of the others were frightened. They are not strict, but no one has taught me to dance. That won't be the difficulty. I want you to be happy. Antoinette. Secure. I've tried to arrange it, but we'll have time to talk about that later. As we were going out of the convent gate, he said in a careless voice, I've asked some English friends to spend next winter here. You won't be dull. Do you think they'll come? I said doubtfully. One of them will. I'm certain of that. It may have been the way he smiled, but again, a feeling of dismay, sadness, loss almost choked me. This time, I did not let him see it. It was like that morning when I found the dead horse, say nothing, and it may not be true, but they all knew at the convent. The girls were very curious about I would not answer their questions, and for the first time I resented the nuns' cheerful faces. They're safe. How can they know what it can be like outside? This was the second time I had my dream. Again, I have left the house at Calibri. It is still night, and I'm walking towards the forest. I'm wearing a long dress and thin slippers, so I walked with difficulty, following the man who is with me and holding up the skirt of my dress. It is white and beautiful, and I don't wish to get it soiled. I followed him, sick with fear, but I make no effort to save myself. If anyone would try to save me, I would refuse. This must happen. Now we have reached the forest. We are under the tall, dark trees, and there's no wind. Here? He turns and looked at me, his face black and with hatred. And when I see this, I began to cry. He smiles slowly. Not here, not yet, he says, and I follow him, weeping. Now I do not try to hold on my dress. It trails in dirt, my beautiful dress. We are no longer in the forest, but in an enclosed garden surrounded by a stone wall, and trees are different trees. I do not know them. There, there are steps leading upwards. It is too dark to see the wall or the steps, but I know they're there, and I think it will be when I go up these steps at the top. Stumble over my dress and cannot get up. I touch a tree and my arms towed onto it. Here. But I think I will not go any further. The tree sways and jerks as if it is trying to throw me off. Still, I clean and the seconds pass, and each one is 1,000 years. Here, a strange voice said, and the tree stopped awake, swaying and jerking. Now Sister Mary Augustine is leading me out of the dormitory, asking if I am ill, telling me that I must not disturb the others, and though I am still shivering and wonder if she will take me behind the mysterious curtains to the place where she sleeps. But no, she seats me in the chair, vanishes, and after a while comes back with a cup of hot chocolate. I sat and dreamed what I was in hell. The dream was evil. Put it from your mind. Never think of it again. And she rubbed my cold hands to warm them. She looks as usual, composed and neat, and I want to ask her if she gets up before dawn or hasn't been to bed at all. Drink your chocolate. While I am drinking it, I remember that after my mother's funeral, very early in the morning, almost as early as this, we went home to drink chocolate and eat cakes. She died last year. No one told me how, and I didn't ask. Mr. Mason was there, and Christophine, no one else. Christophine cried bitterly, but I could not. I prayed, but the words fell to the ground, meaning nothing. Now the thought of her is mixed up with my dream. I saw her in her mended habit riding in a borrowed horse, trying to wave at the head of the cobblestone road at Calibri. Why? And tears came to my eyes again. Such terrible things happened, I said. Why? Why? You must not concern yourself with that mystery. And Sister Mary Augustine, Sister Mary Augustine, we do not know why the devil must have his little day. Not yet. She never smells as much as the. She never smelled. She never smiled as much as the others. Now she was not smiling at all. She looked sad. She said, as if she was talking to herself, "Now go quietly back to bed. Think of calm, peaceful things and try to sleep. Soon I will give the signal. Soon it will be tomorrow morning." By here, I finished part 1, and the next day I'm going to continue part 2. So, bye-bye.